Hello, my name is Robert Siebes, and I make this video today because we have news from Bavaria. Some people died after getting a vaccine in a retirement home. The specific importance of this news, however, is that all of these people have been tested positive against COVID-19. And this corresponds perfectly to an assumption Professor Bhakdi has exposed in his book about the corona crisis, which has been published a couple of months ago. He explains, as one of the mostly quoted experts in immunology and infectiology, he explains what can be the reason for it and why this should mean that we should act both in gathering more data and also in thinking more about what to do and what not to do.
Yes, I think that this incident that we had yesterday in Germany is giving us the unique chance to find out whether the whole concept that everyone has been following may have to be dropped, may have to be cancelled, with which we will be stopping this whole pandemic. Now, the thing is that the whole pandemic and the scare behind this was created because of a misunderstanding. And that was that we are dealing with a new coronavirus. Of course we're dealing with a new coronavirus. You know, when a child is born, we have a new human being, but he's still human. So this coronavirus was new, but at the same time, it was not new. It was a coronavirus like all the other members of the family. Now, if a virus enters your body, enters a cell, then you are infected. So if my head is a cell, the virus goes in, I get infected, the cell produces this virus in the lung, for instance. What happens then is that during the production of this virus, you have waste products coming. And the waste products are put in front of the door of the cell. So my eyeglasses are the waste products of this virus. Now, our immune system does not only consist of antibodies that would try to prevent the entry of a virus by binding to it. No, in fact, the first column on which our immune system is working against viruses are the lymphocytes, because the first viruses will always enter the body. That's why, you know, when a child goes to the kindergarten the first year, he's ill all the time. He gets coronavirus after coronavirus after coronavirus. You can't prevent the first infections in the first place. The virus goes in, multiplies, the waste products come, and then your lymphocytes, T lymphocytes mainly, will come around and they will eventually see the waste products of this virus, and they will be awoken. So they will be activated and they will train with this virus. But one thing that your lymphocytes do, and this is the subgroup of your killer lymphocytes, is that they will also attack this cell and they will try to kill it. So the killer lymphocytes are there to kill the cells that are making the virus, right? And then the child gets well again, and that's the end of the first story. Now, when the next virus comes, then the next clone of killer lymphocytes are activated because they all cross-recognize these products. The products are very similar. So in the end, grown-ups have an array, a whole spectrum of killer lymphocytes that recognize virtually all the coronaviruses that are around. That's why when you get older, you get less and less flu, less and less coronavirus infections that you feel. You may get a cough, but you don't get the pneumonia. Now, what we have always feared was going to happen with this vaccination is this. When you vaccinate someone with this mRNA, you are plunging a needle into his muscles and sending billions of little packages of the gene of the virus into the body. The first thing that happens is that these packages go into the bloodstream and are distributed throughout the body. And cells take up these packages. Where these cells are, which cells they are, no one knows because no one ever took the trouble to look. This is one of the criminal things that is happening now. Experiments are being performed on humans without the animal experiments having been performed beforehand. Because of course you have to look to see where these packages are going. What we know is happening, because it can't be otherwise, since it is known that these packages are spread through the body, is that let us now think that a cell anywhere in your body is now expressing and making this virus protein. Now you have all these killer lymphocytes that see this and they get all excited, all through your body. They said, hey guys, we have to go to work, okay? And it's like they're going into a ring and starting to train again. And they are going to attack your cells that are expressing this protein. And that is why we think the poor guys who are getting this vaccine are getting severe side effects. You know that after the second shot of this BioNTech vaccine, over 50% of the people couldn't go to work. They had fever, pain all over the body, headaches. They felt totally, and they were sick. Now, this may already kill the old, the frail, with pre-existing disease, and we think, we don't know, you see, we think that is why we have so many deaths directly after, a few days after the vaccination. However, and this is the next thing, imagine now that these poor people in the nursing homes get a completely normal coronavirus. It goes into their lung, it replicates, but now you don't have a few soldiers coming in, a few killer lymphocytes that are going to go to work quietly. You've got a whole army of killer lymphocytes that are wild in the body, and when they see this simple old virus, they say, guys, time to go. And they go for the lung of these poor old people. And those lungs are destroyed so fast, you won't believe it, killed by the killer lymphocytes. This is what one calls immunologically mediated enhancement of disease, worsening of a disease. Now, could that have happened yesterday in Germany? Could that have been the reason for all those deaths in New York in a nursing home, which were labeled COVID-19 infections? We think it could well be, and we have the huge chance now to find out, because all you have to do is to go and demand to see the records of the deceased and ask to see the results of that PCR test and ask about the CT, cycle threshold value number, that had been determined. Because, as we hopefully all know today, the CT threshold, any CT threshold above 30 betrays that it was not SARS-CoV-2. It must have been another virus. And all you have to do is to go and look at the records. The moment it comes out that the CT values were higher than 30 or even higher than 28, we've got it. We've got it. And this would mean that vaccinating people endangers them towards immunologically mediated enhancement of disease, which was exactly what was found for other viruses, coronaviruses, that was due to antibodies. But in this case, the enhancements would probably be due to the killer lymphocytes. So it's a new type of enhancement. Well, no, it's not really. This type of enhancement by lymphocytes has also been discovered to be operating in so-called dengue virus disease. All right, but this is another story that I may tell another time.